Defenders and Access to Justice Advocate Center Shoshari Osho Branch. They will have a case of child abandonment reported by Ms. Lillian Onye- Oyelonye Dada David against Mr. Adebowale Oladipo Afelumo. Please join us as we shall subscribe to our YouTube channel on Access to Justice TV and follow us on our Facebook page on Mara Defenders and Access to Justice Advocate Center. Thank you. Okay, now let's hear from you.
Okay. Okay, so I was in a relationship with Mr. Adebowale Afelumo, in 2010, 2010. I became, after marriage proposals, I became pregnant. We were preparing for marriage, and then I became pregnant in May 2010. And then necessary introductions were done. He took me to his family house in Surulere, Lagos. I met his mother at the time she was sick, but I was introduced to her, his father, his siblings, and all of that. So marriage preparations were underway. But when I was 4 months gone, by when it was time for marriage, for the introduction with my people to begin formally, his family asked me to for money. That in Yoruba land, it is the woman's family that sponsors the weddings. And then I said, I am not Yoruba, and from Benue State, and it's strange to I would be the one to sponsor my own marriage. That was where like it was like a play and everything, and then 4 months exactly, because the month that his elder sister told me that Adebowale said he was no longer going forward, that they were not going forward with the marriage again. Was that day the pregnancy was exactly 4 months, because that day I went to the hospital to take tetanus injection on that particular day. So from the hospital, she called me that she wanted to see me. So I got to their house, from to her house in Surulere, another part of Surulere, and then she told me everything, that they would not be going forward with the marriage arrangement, because in their place they believe that any money that a wife has belongs to the husband. So I said, yes, I understand that, as if once we get married and all of that, the preliminaries should be done. Then, with in marriage, I know exactly what to do, how to build our finances and everything. But it is not in my play. It's not possible that I would use my own money to conduct my own marriage ceremonies. So she said, well, that they will not be going ahead with the marriage. I called my mom, because they had already been told. He had called all of them, and I said that, okay, this is the situation of things. Now the situation almost killed my mom, but thankfully she stabilized and everything. So she put calls through, and then they arranged that, okay, my mom told them that she was going to travel from the village to Lagos, and there was a need, because there was a need for the families to meet. My eldest brother, because my dad is late, my eldest brother was going to come from Abuja, and then my eldest sister that stays here in Lagos, and we wanted to meet with them. So they fixed a date, and then my people came as planned. They took us to not their house, not their family house. It was a Mr. Biggs, a restaurant in around Ojodu, because at that time he was staying at Omolefe one. So when we got to the place, they said they were still they insisted on their position that this was what it was and everything. So my family looked at it and they said, okay, no problem. They told them that, okay, pregnancy was already 4 months gone. Nobody will advise me to terminate any pregnancy, because number one, for my life, and then any child that God has given, there's a purpose for that child. But culturally, when the baby is born, they should come and claim their child, and then it is his responsibility to take care of his child, feeding, everything the way a father would do for the child, that they were not going to insist on the marriage because God may be saying something. So everybody, they agreed that they talked about antenatal. The sister said that they were no longer they were not going to take care. So that was, so the meeting ended, and we left. So from that point, from antenatal, I continued the journey and everything. My family kept encouraging me through the process. So the day I was going to give birth, I was in the hospital. My mother, labor had started. So he came to the hospital. I was in labor for 3 days, and then the third day, the doctor said that the baby was already weak, baby was breath and all of that. So, and then I was also already tired, so we needed to go for CS. They gave him a form, Crystal Specialist Hospital. They gave him a form to sign for undertaking for the surgery. He refused to sign. It was my elder sister, one of my sisters, that signed the undertaking. Okay, so we went into the session. They brought the baby out. He collected he was the one they handed the baby over to. So as I heard, because then I was still under, I was still not awake. I was still not awake. So they said the baby needed to take milk before I'll come round, and then breast milk will begin to flow. They asked him for money to buy naan, a tin of naan at the hospital. He refused to give. It was my sister that bought the tin of naan. So since then, and at that time we now realized that he had already gotten married to another lady from Ibadan. So so at that point, you realize that okay, they already knew exactly what happened. So no problem. Baby was already here. It was a child, a girl, a beautiful thing. I was happy. Nothing. I think his father gave me 100 naira that I should use to take care of the baby. They said that one was symbolic. So it continued, and then since it's been off and on. Not he had the phone numbers of everybody in my family. He calls them when they ask him for money for the upkeep of the child. He will stop calling, and then after a while he will resurface again. 10 years, 10, like that, until the baby finish primary school, secondary school. The last midterm in July, he called that he wanted to see the baby, and then the baby had already even started asking questions, because I got married to another person, started having children. It was when she began to ask that why is my own name different. We told her that this is the situation and everything, that one day your father will come. So when he started calling, they said okay, he said he wanted to see the baby. no problem, they fixed an appointment in July. He came, they said, okay, we are going to be ready, thinking that he was going to come and they will do the necessary things, claim the child, and then their relationship will start from that place. Okay, our people will wait for you at my brother's place on so date. You come with your people so that you know the necessary things. But on that day, he came alone. Because I was not there, the child was there. My people were waiting. He came alone, so they asked him what he came to do. That he said because the fact that he's in Lagos and he knows that the child is in Lagos, they are not seeing, they don't know each other. Has already started hurting him. So they told him that yes, they told you from the beginning when you said you were not marrying our daughter again, that you are these are the necessary things, and you are the one who has not kept to your promises and to your agreements initially. So this is what you are supposed to do. And the child is still going to school and everything. The child is eating, the child is clothing, the child has needs that must be met, that we are all only taking care of. So he said he was um, that day he promised the child a laptop because for ICT. He promised her a phone. He promised her a pair of shoes. The girl told me that he took measurement of her feet. So towards the resumption of the term, she started asking me that those things that her father promised her, how was she going to get them and everything. So I said, well, I don't even have his phone number again, and I'm not even allowed to relate with him like that. But through the other my other sisters, maybe let's get his phone number so that you can put a call through to him. Maybe when you are relating, you get the things you want. So she called him on this before schools resumed. She said, okay, she will ask for her school fees and then the items that he promised her in July. So he called him. They exchanged pleasantries, and then she said, okay, daddy, my school is resuming in September, and this is they have given us the bill. This is my bill for the term is 329,000, and then the things that you promised me when we met and everything. So he said, oh, okay, wait, I know exactly what to do. Let me call your uncle. That's my eldest brother now, and I'll get back to you. So the next about 10 or 15 minutes, my brother called me that he called to say that his daughter called him to ask if he was truly his father, I mean, truly her father. I say, what? How is it possible that this girl did such a thing? So I called my daughter to the phone and I gave the phone to her. When my brother asked her the question, she opened her mouth. What I didn't say anything like that. So it was at that point that I just realized that maybe because I have kept quiet all along, bearing the burden and everything. And then I said, okay, let me call the DS. I went online, got their number, and I called. They said they will refer me to FSS around my area. When they called him initially, the woman told me, the FSS officer told me that he said he was going to speak to his lawyer and get back. So after about a few days, she called me that a lawyer called her that they wanted us to meet. So we got there. I went with the girl. She didn't go. I stopped her because I took permission from work. I called her class teacher so that she wasn't coming at the beginning of the session. That she wasn't coming to school that day. So we went to the FSS office at Ikotu. And then when we sat, the lawyer came. And then what was the excuse for not coming? I told the FSS officer that why this case happened between Mr. Adebowale and I. Why is it that is a lawyer that is representing him? That is it possible to represent somebody by proxy on a case, personal on a case like that is as personal as this? She said, no, brother. He said out of town. Meanwhile, the lawyer they spoke at the same time. The lawyer's excuse for his not coming was because the time for the meeting was changed from 10 to 2 p.m. Because I went to the office in the morning, and then I said 2 p.m. I will take permission to I must ensure that I'll be there by 2 p.m. So and then the lawyer said made their propositions that their proposition is 20,000 naira for every month, and no medicals. They don't want off the counter drugs for the child. So I should enroll the child in my HMO, and then for her education. If they discover that the amount is too much for the daddy, the law permits them to use a public school. I said at the end of the day, it's his child. I'm not asking for all of this for myself. But then what I want, anything, and then I realized that the FSS officer, whenever I want to speak, she would not allow me to speak and everything. And then she kept saying, "Has God not blessed me already? Why am I? It's but if I have been taking care of this child till now, why do I still want the father to still to come and start taking responsibility now that the FSS officer that if God has already blessed me, I am married, I am this, and all of that. Now, if God has already blessed me the way He has done, why am I still saying that the father should come and take responsibility for the child? So I say, why not? I should even be asking for payment from the time that he abandoned the pregnancy at 4 months. We should calculate everything, and then he will give me my half, and then he will, after secondary school that the child is now have successfully completed, taking care of JSS1 to 3. Is remaining the next 3 years, SS1 to SS3. That's the reason, that's even the main reason why I gave the number. I looked for the number and his number, and I gave to the child. Let him come and complete SS1 to SS3 for her, so that it will be balanced. He also has responsibility for the child. Not that I'm the only one that will tell. And then every time he says, "I'm your father," when they were speaking that day, I overheard him say, "I am your father, I am your father." So being a father also comes with responsibilities. That's the reason why I'm here, because my opinion, the process at FSS, I see that it is not. I don't believe in that process. And we did. When we left, she said that. Social welfare, family support services.
Okay.
In Lagos State Family Support Services. So that's
Right.
So I don't believe in that process, in the process, because I felt that it was compromised. That process was compromised. At the point that because I did not agree to the the terms that they gave. I said, the woman now said that they were going to, okay, since I had somebody, a lawyer that I was also talking to at the time. She said she collected the phone numbers of my lawyer and exchanged the numbers of the lawyers, and said that they should reach, discuss, deliberate, and agree and get back to her. But I know that the lawyer spoke once, but his own lawyer has not been picking calls afterward since then. That's the reason why I decided that I should, take the case off the FSS and come to a place where I will have access to true justice.
Okay, you understand that if you did not comply with the invitation for a peaceful resolution, your last option is to sue him to court.
I understand. I understand that I am ready for that process.
What you do, you will give you an appointment with one of our litigation lawyer on Tuesday. First, you will contact him between Monday and Tuesday, and also contact his lawyer. If there's no positive outcome in having a date for a peaceful resolution, the first will meet with one of our litigation lawyers and will serve them for court. It is his full responsibility to take care of the child, if it is his child, and if he doubt the paternity of the child, he should go and run DNA test. Otherwise, they will sue the child sue him for child neglect. Lagos State is don't even support that. So I don't know whichever lawyer, the money he has is given to the lawyer and depriving the child her fundamental rights and also support welfare from the father. We should use that to take care of his child, because the lawyer cannot be his mess of pain. The lawyer can never turn to be his daughter or his son. And that is one thing some lawyer do that I hate. I hate totally. Yes, you went to school, you studied, that is your profession. Then notwithstanding, you call a spade a spade. What is not right is not right. What is not good is not good. What is good before the presence of God and human being. I don't see any reason why they should be supporting the man doing evil by turning back at his child. A child that should uh, enjoy the benefit of the father's welfare, she's not getting because we love to him. So the best option, if they contact them between Monday and Tuesday and there's no positive response, we'll serve them from court. So let the lawyer go to court and tell the court that the child will not reserve the rights for a welfare fund or a biological fund. You get me? So you don't need to stress yourself about it. The law will take its course and justice must definitely prevail for the child. Thank God we are married, we move on. So we're not talking about a relationship, we are talking about the welfare of the child, which is mandatory. That is not negotiable. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sorry? Okay, I'm still online. Hold on. All right, thank you, viewers, for being with us. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and access to Justice TV. We'll be back in a moment. Thank you.